All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the first evening speaker interview series for TDevConf speakers. We have with us this evening Mr. Chris Woodruff. Chris, how are you this evening?
Oh, I'm good. I'm good. How are you,
Well,
Douglas?
I'm busy. I've got
Yeah, I bet.
this is 5 out of 20.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm
Nice.
doing 4 tomorrow. So
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I
Well,
appreciate it.
thank you for being here, and definitely thank you for your contribution to TDevConf. We are really looking forward to it. We'll get to that in just a minute, but first of all, I do want to do a commercial announcement. So our friend Chris Gardner in Huntsville has taken I almost said TDev Space, but Dev Space. He has taken it virtual this year, so it's going to be day after tomorrow, Friday, September the 11th. Starts at 8:39 Central. Didn't really give me a definitive time the other day. But at any rate, you can check out devspaceconf.com or at devspaceconf on Twitter for more details. So, Chris, I think I sent you a list of. I might have messed up and not sent. Yeah, I think I sent you the list of questions. I don't know, but at any rate, we can talk about anything.
Sure.
But there is one that I want to ask everybody, and that is give us the 60 to 90-second elevator pitch about Chris Woodruff.
Oh, so old guy, 25 years of experience. I've been around for a while. I've seen a lot of stuff, done a lot. I mean, I'm a jack of all trades, master of none, I always say. So I've kind of done a little bit of everything in my career. And you know what? I like APIs. There's a few things I like. I like a good craft beer. I like a good finger of bourbon with ice or no ice, and I like my APIs.
And you're probably really missing Code Palooza this year, or the
Yeah,
live version of it. I guess it's the
yeah,
person version.
yeah, yeah. I actually I'm going down to Kentucky, down to the Bourbon Trail. I get down there once or twice a year.
Mhm.
I haven't been down there this year, but my brother and I are going down the weekend before Thanksgiving.
Cool.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I had some of the. I mean, being from Memphis, I can be a barbecue snob. And last year, I had literally the best pulled pork I've ever had in my life in Louisville.
Hmm.
It's Guy Fieri's place over on 4th Street.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's some good food. I used to live in Kentucky, so
Oh, okay.
so yeah, I lived over in Lexington for three
Ah,
years, in between Atlanta and moving back to Michigan.
so
Yeah, it
you've
was
been to
a
Atlanta
nice
too.
place.
Wow. You've been all
Yep.
over the Eastern United States, kind of like me. I've been all
Yeah,
over the
I
place.
was in Seattle. I was in Atlanta. I mean, I grew up here in Michigan, and yep. So I kind of one thing that I always said that I wanted to go to college for was an opportunity to live anywhere,
Mhm.
and yeah, yep. Almost lived in Sydney, Australia, or
Wow.
in London, but we started having kids, and that was a little hard to do.
Yeah. So
But
you said that you've got a lot of experience. Said you got 25 years of experience. So you should have an interesting answer to this next question. What was your first computer?
so my first computer,
Hmm.
so I had two about the same time. I cannot remember which one I got first. Either I had a Gen 1 uh Apple II that was so old that it all it showed was uppercase letters.
Wow.
So I had WordStar
Mhm.
word processing app, and to get to so all letters. If I printed out on the dot matrix printer that I had, it would show like a normal uppercase letter would print out as lowercase, and to get capital letters, it would show inverse because it was a green
Mhm.
monochrome screen. It would show the letter inversed. So white background, green letter. So that showed an uppercase letter. So
Yeah.
that was the first computer I had. It was 40 columns, uh, or was it? No, yeah, it was 40 columns. It couldn't take a 80 column card for people that remember Apple IIs and the 80 column card that you could add.
Mhm.
It was really old. I think it had 24K of memory. I mean, it had a insane small amount. So I
Yeah.
had that one. And then I had a Tandy Trash 80, TRS 80.
Mhm.
So that with a cassette tape
Mhm.
player for memory backups to store my applications.
You are the second TRS-80 user I've had on today. I interviewed Matt Groves this morning, and his first one, I believe, if I remember correctly, was the TRS-80. Mine was the TI-99 4A, so I
Oh
know
yeah,
about those memory limitations because that thing had 16K of memory.
yeah. Maybe the first gen Apple might have had 16. It either had 16 or maybe had 32.
Yeah.
But I bought it used, so I did.
Okay.
I mean, it was from like 1976 or 77. It literally was one of the first
Yeah.
batches, and I wish I still had it because it would be worth a ton right now if I still had it.
So I have little side story here. So the company that my dad was working for, they were getting rid of a whole bunch of stuff, and they had a Mac, one of the first generation Macintosh computers,
Oh yeah, with
and they
screen
had
about
yeah.
that big.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, about that big, and it's the all-in-one with the, and they made the big deal. It had the built-in handle for it,
yeah.
and they had no idea what was there, and they are like, oh, this thing's so old we can't use it anymore, and they were just going to give it away, and so my dad brought it home, brought it to me, said, hey, here's a free computer, and but at any rate, uh, and I basically was like, I couldn't do anything with it because it was so old, but I kept it, and I don't really know why, but years later I read about where the on that original line, the designers' names were engraved on the like the shielding inside, and so I
Yeah.
thought, I wonder. So I went, and I'd never taken it, I went and drug it out of the closet or wherever it was, and I unscrewed the back of it, opened it up, and sure enough, all the names are inside there. So it does not work, but I keep it just for that.
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now I have an even funnier story that I tell
Okay.
to all the newer people. So I went to Michigan State for
Mhm.
computer science. Never needed a computer because they had these big Solaris Sun OS workstations, and all their work was done on Unix. So all of our projects were done in like C++ on Unix machines or Next machines. We also had
Oh,
Next
the
machines
next
that,
cubes.
yeah,
Wow.
we had the pizza boxes, the
Oh, okay.
Next pizza boxes. So when I got out of college, I thought, well, I need a computer now. So I got a computer loan for $4,000. So I paid $4,000 for a laptop that was
Mm-hmm.
2.5 inches thick. It had maybe a 8-inch screen, 9-inch screen, resolution 640 by 480. And if I looked at it more than like 10 degrees off center, the whole picture disappeared.
Couldn't read
Now,
it.
now it was great for privacy, but
Yeah, true.
it also weighed about 10 pounds,
Yeah.
and it had a 486 DX100 was the processor in it.
Yeah.
It had, I want to say 512K of RAM.
Mm-hmm.
So hard drive, I want to say it had a 5 or 10 meg hard drive,
Mm.
and that was $4,000. I took a loan out,
I'll bet.
and
I'll bet.
so
Yeah.
yeah.
I just
Now you can get a laptop for $300
oh yeah.
that 10 probably 1,000 times better than that.
I just got a couple weeks ago. I got a new Mac and MacBook Pro, the 16-inch one.
Oh
And
yeah.
total, it's about that thick, and that's with the case.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah, I know.
I am not going to spend that much money on a machine and not put a case on it. And it's got the 64 gigs. I can run Windows and several Windows
Oh yeah, those
and
are
Mac
awesome.
at
I
the
mean,
same time. And it's just absolutely they're absolutely incredible.
did you
And
get the 8 terabytes of
no, I
SSD?
didn't. I maxed out the memory is what I did,
Okay.
and I got the 8 gig. I got the 8 gig GPU and the 8 core processor, but I did
Nice.
not. No, I didn't go for that because that would have been like $2,000 extra.
I know.
Already.
I know. I know. I know a few people. I know one person, and I will not name his or her name,
Okay.
that maxed out the whole thing. I mean, got everything you could get, and it is a really impressive machine.
Oh wait.
Now
Oh yeah.
I did get something interesting. So I'll unplug this. So
Okay.
I have this,
All right.
which is a it's an interesting little. So it's a iPad Pro,
Oh yeah.
11-inch, and I bought this keyboard. It's a shoot, what's the name of the keyboard? It's
Is
like
that the Apple one?
no,
No, it's
no,
not the
this is
Apple one.
a third party one,
Okay.
and it's metal. It's
Mm-hmm.
kind of heavy, but it's Bluetooth, and it's really
Yeah.
nice. And I have been using this for like if I do like writing
Mm-hmm.
or if I do like just simple non-developer things, I use this, and it is awesome. And I because it's USB-C, I can hook up a headphones. I can hook up a camera to it. Um, I'm actually going to think about using it as a streaming machine. So it's actually like the iPad Pros. I'm at work. I'm a team leader, so I
Yeah.
don't really code anymore. I'm in management now, so that is really all I need for work. I
Yeah.
just need it to emails and like do Teams and do Zoom and take care of like communication stuff and write. I do write a lot, but and it has Office on it. I mean, it's really nice, and the
No,
keyboard's really nice on it too.
no, I actually have the 12.9-inch version, and I got the Apple keyboard because I
Yeah,
want a trackpad in there,
yeah,
and I am right with you on I'm right with you on that really for a lot of for almost everything non-code and even some things code like you can run like Replit and Code Sandbox in there even.
yeah. You can the cloud. There's like some cloud IDs that you can
Yeah,
run in there.
yeah, Replit
Yeah,
and Code Sandbox,
yeah,
and and since you get when you get the trackpad, it's beautiful for remoting into a to an Azure VM or something. So I can actually run, so I actually can access Windows on it. But the other cool thing about it is I got the LTE version.
yeah.
AT&T had a deal going, so I got the LTE version. And like this morning, I was waiting for I was waiting for had to take the dog to the vet for an ear infection, and I was sitting out there in the car because we can't go in.
Yeah.
So I was sitting out in the car, and I was checking up on what are the statistics on ticket sales, and who what's my schedule like, who do I have to interview, and what do I have to set up today. So so yeah, no, those the iPad Pro is it. And there are all the rumors about, hey, it's going to be able to run Xcode, soon it's going to be able to run Logic
Yeah,
Pro and Final Cut and that kind of stuff. So
I know. I know. It's going to be interesting what the next version of iPad Pro. I'm actually if they next week if they announce a new iPad Pro, I'm thinking about maybe getting that because it'll have the new silicon chip in it,
mhm.
and it should be really powerful. Uh,
Well,
we'll see. We'll see.
I no, go on.
No, I'm done.
Oh no. I was going to say no. The silicon. I'm excited for Apple Silicon, but I went ahead and got an Intel one because I still
Yeah,
need. I still and in parallels. It's probably going parallels and VMware Fusion. They're probably going to need at least a generation to get the kinks worked out.
yeah. I think so. I think, yeah, we'll see how long it takes them to put the Apple Silicon into the MacBook Pros, because that's the one where people are going to probably demand that, at least to be able to keep Windows on it for a while. So,
Right.
I mean, the MacBooks, I think normal MacBooks and the Mac Airs, those are going to go to Apple Silicon pretty
Oh, yeah.
quick. If not next week, who knows what they'll next week on the 15th. But
Yeah.
we're going to talk about the conference.
Oh yeah, we are. Sure,
Yeah.
we are. We got off on it. We got off on it.
Yeah, we got off on a tangent.
I do want to ask you one more just general coding related question. What's your favorite code or text editor? Again, since you've used a lot, you talked about sort of how you started off in computing and everything.
Well, probably my favorite kind of legacy was Delphi. I love Delphi. I did Delphi when I got out of college, so I did that for probably 7-8 years until I jumped over to .NET. And today, yeah, I'm a big JetBrains Rider fan. So I jump into Visual Studio once in a while. I use Visual Studio 2019, the preview, to do right now to do .NET 5, because it's the only IDE that will kind of use it and set up for it. Other than, I'm not a fan of VS Code, never been.
Oh, really?
No, it's an editor. It's not an IDE. So I know I'll get attacked for it. I don't really care. But I want an IDE. I want something that if I'm going to use something, I want it to help me. So that's why I use Rider. I mean, one is I just love that it's getting better and better every release, and it's still 64-bit, so I can run 4 or 5 of them at the same time and not run out of memory. So
well, I am a VS Code fan, but no big deal, because this morning Matt said that he didn't like Python, and so and that is kind of my.
You know what? It's all about choice.
Yeah,
it's all about choice, and I mean, 5 years ago we had no choice. Everyone used Visual Studio, and now at least we have some choices. We have at least 3 choices, so that's fine. So, but I mean, that's why there's choices. Everyone can pick and choose what they want. So
exactly. So let's go ahead and talk about your about TDevConf and what you're going to be presenting. Developing great web APIs architectures with ASP.NET Core 3.1. I think you have the second longest title in the conference.
No
problem. So go ahead and give us the preview. No spoilers. We still want people to come to the conference.
It's not really specific to ASP.NET Core 3.1. Okay. I just put that on there because it's the newest. It's what we're all using today.
Right.
If we're using Core. But really it's a talk about like what you need to think about when you're building your architecture for APIs, and in some ways your architecture for just general architecture. It's all the things that I did wrong. So in the talk, I say I did everything wrong that you probably could do when building APIs 4, 5, 6 years ago. And I learned not to couple things together, keep things kind of decoupled so I can work with them a little easier. I can test them out easier. And it just ended to do things so I have a little more flexibility when I need to refactor. So, and that's really what I go into. I go into some concepts like caching, different caching ideas and stories, testing, unit testing, and integration testing, which are 2 different things, and they're 2 different kind of ways to test out your APIs internally and externally. And I mean, it's really a logical, for me, it's a way to just share kind of the scars that I have and all the bad things I did over years to maybe help someone that won't have to go through all that hardship in having an API that is has a lot of technical debt and is hard to kind of refactor and stuff like that. So
Okay. So, what about, so of course .NET 5 is coming, and I mean I realize you said that it's not really specific to ASP.NET Core 3.1,
yep.
but so it's like what's coming what's coming up in .NET 5 that would be of interest to API developers?
Yeah. So they're always increasing performance. So the number one thing with APIs is to build them so that they are quick. I
Hmm.
mean that's the biggest thing is performance, and that was why ASP.NET Core was so great. One, it was written pretty much from the ground up, so you had great performance and writing your APIs, and two, it could be run on any platform. So like back here someplace, I have a Linux laptop
Hmm.
I use. It's an Ubuntu, and I run and I develop my ASP.NET Core stuff on that too. And actually, I like Linux probably as well as Windows for writing code. It runs .NET Core and ASP.NET Core really great. Never had a problem. Actually, I seem to get better performance and not as many kind of hiccups with on Linux. So I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me, my perception, but but yeah. I mean .NET 5, really .NET 5 and ASP.NET 5 are just core next version.
Okay.
To be honest,
Hmm.
I really think they're just core next version. They want to drop core because core was the differentiator between .NET Framework and .NET Core. Now we're getting into one, and we're just going to have back to .NET.
Right.
So yeah, it'll be interesting. I'm digging into .NET 5 right now, um, but kind of strange that .NET 5 is. I don't know how popular it's going to really be. Um, I think it'll be popular for just normal, like our community,
Hmm.
but for like big corporations,
Yeah.
like I work at Quicken Loans,
Right.
um, and we're gonna hold. I mean, I think most companies. I won't say just us, but I think
Right.
most large companies, because .NET 5 doesn't have LTS,
Yeah.
and LTS isn't going to come until .NET 6, which is over a year from now.
Hmm.
I don't know how. I think, to be honest, .NET 5 is going to be a lot like what .NET Core 1.x
Hmm.
was. I think it's going to be, yeah, it's around. People look at it, they code for it, but like big projects aren't going to really be done until .NET 6 and LTS, which is long-term support
Right.
until long-term support is done. So I think most people are going to stay on .NET Core 3.1 for LTS until next year, or stay on what for .NET Framework
Oh, yeah.
4.8
Yeah.
point whatever
Right.
4.8, and I think they'll stay on those two until like over a year from now, and then .NET 6 will come out, and I think that will be the watershed kind of moment, just like um, ASP.NET Core wasn't really popular
Hmm.
in like in general until 2.0 version, from what I remember. 1.0 was people used it, but it wasn't like a big development platform for enterprise until 2.0.
No, and I definitely agree with you on that. In fact, Chad Green, Codepalooza, and he's been talking on his stream about how the company that he works for, they're probably, I think it was Chad that was saying that was how they're going to hold off on .NET 5 and for that exact reason. And he's basically making the same predictions that you are. I mean, it's because of the long-term support. And the main thing that I'm excited about for .NET 5 is Maui dropping, because then I can use Visual Studio Code for everything. As right now, it's the only thing I have to use Visual Studio for is Xamarin development.
Yeah. So Maui looks interesting. More features and updates will come out with Blazor.
Oh yeah, that's right, Blazor. Yeah,
client, and I think the client side Blazor will get more popular. I know it's either out. I'm not really into Blazor that much, just because I don't do a lot of front end development, even in JavaScript. So, which I need to do more of to kind of get it back into that. But I think Blazor's. I mean, we'll have incremental kind of improvements over the next year, but I don't know. I kind of have mixed feelings on the whole .NET 5 and not doing a LTS of some version of .NET 5. I don't know. I don't see the logic in it waiting a year. But I don't make decisions. So someone very much smarter than me has determined that they should wait till 6 to do LTS. So I'll live with it. That's the thing with 25 years of experience. I don't really get super excited for a lot anymore. It's like, okay, it's out. We'll start using it. Let's take a look. I'm kind of pragmatic when I come to that type of stuff now, where 20 years ago was like, or 25 years ago when Windows 95 came out, it was like, oh, Windows 95, blah, 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 this and this, or like the first easy to install Linux, like Linux, Red Hat, and some of the original easy to install Linux distros back in like the late 90s came out, and I was so excited, and rebuilding kernels and
oh my gosh.
building my own desktops, and so, but yeah, don't get into that stuff as much anymore. So
were you in line at midnight for Windows 95?
I don't think so. You know what? I worked at a big Microsoft partner, so I think we all got like copies through work. Like they just came around and went, "Hey, have a box of Windows 95." I think they bought everyone like a copy. So I don't think we had to wait in line. So not that we got it like the day it was released, but we got it kind of a couple days after.
Right. Back so they actually had yes, folks, they did sell software in boxes.
Yeah.
you actually went into Office Depot or what else was around back then? Office Depot or Comp USA. That's when the
Comp USA Yep. And they were on floppy disks.
Yes.
Windows 5 wasn't on a CD, so you had to like pull out a floppy disk. Like I think it came on like 4 or 6 floppy disks. I know it came on a lot of floppy disks where you're like, okay, you have to sit around and wait till insert disk number 2. Okay, there's disk number 2. Let's drink my coffee or my beer until disk number 3 needs to go in.
So. I remember when .NET .NET was in beta, and you actually could, and this was like one of the first things I actually downloaded. One of the first major pieces of software I downloaded, and you had to and downloading the different archives. There's like 13 or 14 floppy disks, and on dial-up. It's just like, man.
Oh yeah. Well, I remember I had a MSDN subscription. So
Mhm.
every quarter I would get a stack of CDs. Now these were CDs, but you remember, so they gave you a binder,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and every quarter you got
Okay.
replacement CDs
Yeah.
for all your software. So the old stuff you'd stash in a drawer, or you would like break it up so no one else could use it, and
Mm-hmm.
you replace it with the new software.
Right.
So and that's how they distributed. That's where like RTM, the
Yeah.
meaning for RTM was released to manufacturing. So it didn't come out on RTM like today when they say, "Oh, it's RTM'd." I mean, it hits the internet, you can download it. No,
Mm-hmm.
back then it was, it's released to manufacturing, then it has to get produced, then it has to get boxed, then it has to get shipped and go out on the shelf. So,
Yeah.
so
But we
kid,
still got we
people
still
nowadays are very lucky.
yeah, but we still have the anachronism. For the acronym as the anachronism.
Yeah.
So we talked quite a bit about what you do professionally, and I think those insights are really, like you said, consider, the young people of today, consider yourselves lucky, because I experienced a lot of that pain as well. So they don't realize, now they
Now,
just now it just
there's
happens
pros and
automatically on their
cons.
phone.
Yeah, there's pros and cons to everything. I mean, back then, if you basically could know everything about DOS or Windows.
Yeah.
Today,
Mhm.
I
Big.
know very I know about that much of everything. It's the world's becoming very complex, and I feel sorry for developers today. Sorry and excited, because there's so many different things that they can delve into, but they also can't learn everything about everything. Where, I mean, like when I went to Michigan State for my undergraduate, I had the K&R book, or
Hmm.
K the C book, and literally everything you need to know about C was in a
Right.
book about a half-inch thick.
Yep.
So, and you could know everything about C, and then C++ was a book about that thick,
Yeah.
and then the library, kind of the library that came with it, was another thick book. Now it's like everything is expanded.
Yeah.
So I think we had it much easier back then in some ways.
True. That you definitely got a point. Um, so I know that you're a very prolific speaker. You and I follow. You and I wind up in the same city when we're allowed to leave our homes several times
Mhm.
a year. But outside of speaking at TDevConf, what else do you do to participate in the community and make it awesome?
Oh well, I'm trying to think. I have slowed down a little bit. I mean, I don't organize any conferences anymore. I used to
Mhm.
do a lot of the Day of .NETs and .NET stuff here in Grand Rapids, and which turned into Dev Day and Dev Night, and then it turned into Beer City Code. But I've
Okay.
kind of let the younger people kind of take over that. I don't podcast anymore, so most people probably wouldn't even know that I did a podcast. But so I did a. I'm trying to get back into podcasting a little bit. Uh, I've got a bunch of stuff that need to be produced, so I just need to get motivated and produce those. I've got about 10 or 11 episodes
Hmm.
besides the two that I have out right now for talking about dev. So you can find it out on Apple and Google and I think Stitcher and stuff. But it has 2 episodes And maybe by saying it on this, I'll push out the rest of them soon. So,
Awesome.
but you know what? What I do now is I try to mentor. I try to help
Okay.
younger speakers.
Very
I try
important.
to, I do a lot of stuff at work to help out internal developers.
Mhm.
Uh, so, but you know what? I need. I'm maybe 2021 is when I get a little come back a little bit more uh, and do a little bit more. So we'll see. We'll see what 2021 brings. Can't be as bad as 2020, right?
No, it can't. You're talking about podcast. Geek Interface is our friend Todd Merritt in Nashville,
Uh,
and he's saying deep
Thank you.
fried bites was awesome.
Yep, that
Uh,
was that was the the old podcast. So I
yeah.
still had stickers, and actually, I was talking to Keith Elder about we had we tried to do a training corporation. It was called
Oh,
SharpX
I've heard of that.
Training,
Yeah, I remember
and
that.
he emailed me like a week or two ago and went, "Hey, this domain is up for renewal," and he's been paying for it for like the last like 8 or 9 years, or maybe the last 6 or 7. And
Right.
he's like, "Should we like just let it go?" And I go, "We can keep it." He goes, "Yeah, I don't want to keep paying for it. Do you want to pay for it?" I'm like, "No, not really." So I think that's going back out into the into the well for people to do. But yeah, I really love deep fried bites. Uh, it was probably the highlight of my community event.
Mhm.
It's a lot of fun. We met a lot of people, had a lot of adventures. Um, so maybe 2021, I can rekindle that and get it back going. Not get that podcast back
Right.
going, but something back going. But you know what? There's just so many podcasts now. I mean, back then we were a handful. We were one of maybe 5 podcasts that were around for .NET and software developers. Now there's dozens, if not like I don't even know how many podcasts there are for .NET, and they're all awesome. I love them,
Right.
and I listen to a lot of them. But I don't know if I could get back into that. So the podcast that I'm doing, like Talk About Dev, initially
Mhm.
doing it around community, like, hey, why do people get in a community? Uh, what are the challenges in community? Just stuff like that, and also like open source community. So it's not just speaker community; it's any community our within software development and technology. So I just need to get those out because there's a lot of good voices.
Mhm.
So I purposely am developed this to do go back and forth between male and female.
Mhm.
So it's has a lot of unique voices that people haven't heard, and maybe some stories and how people got in a community that are different from the typical stories like you and I probably have.
Mhm.
Uh, so I just need to get those out. So this is motivating me
Yeah.
to produce those podcast episodes and get them out.
You heard it here first, folks.
Yes, yes, do that.
Re-
So
uh, almost running upon time here, but real quick, what do you do outside of work slash tech? Although I realize that a lot of us, what we do outside of work is tech because we enjoy it so much. For
yeah,
instance.
I'm a dad,
Hmm.
so I've got 3 kids. So I try to be active, and that was why, like about 4 years ago, I really didn't. I stopped talking for a little while
Hmm.
because I was traveling so much that I wasn't really around my family. So I've got 3 great kids. They're older. They're high school, college age. So I try to force myself into their lives when they don't want me in their lives anymore. But no, I mean, I do a lot of family stuff. I have a great wife. We travel, not now, but when we can travel,
Right.
we try to travel. Um, I read. I go to movies a lot. So have normal hobbies,
Right.
um, like typical stuff. But yeah, I mean, what I'm doing now, I've been reading a lot in during the pandemic, reading a lot of different books, um, fiction, nonfiction, stuff
Mhm.
like that. So.
Okay. Well, before we get your closing thoughts, I want to go through, want to do one more set of commercial announcements. First of all, tomorrow morning, Thursday, September the 10th at 11 a.m., we are going to have David Neal. David is going to be our keynote speaker this year. And also, if you want to see Chris and David and all of the other great speakers that we have and that we've interviewed and the ones that are going to be interviewed over the next couple of weeks, you can go to bit.ly/TDevConf 2020-tickets. Do not forget, TDevConf is Saturday, October 3rd, about 3.5 weeks away. Follow us on Twitter at TDevConf. Chris, leave us with some words of wisdom.
Oh, I don't know. I just you know what? What I always tell people is that in this industry, you're going to have many days where you work hard and very few that you work smart. So when you do get a day that you work smart, hold it, cherish it, and try to get as much work out of that as you can. Because the days that you work hard, I mean, you get work done, but like I was saying today, you bang your head a lot on the days where you work hard. So cherish the days where you work smart.
Sounds like good advice from somebody who has a lot of smart working smart days under his belt.
Oh, I very few, but who knows? Hopefully, I've got a few more.
Well, I think that's going to pretty much wrap it up. Our guest again this evening has been Mr. Chris Woodruff. Chris, thank you for everything that
Thank you.
you've done for the community, and thank you for helping to make TDevConf awesome.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward to it, Douglas. So very excited.
All right, thanks a lot. See you later.
Yeah, bye everyone.